herself, just like how she can come and say that we saw the jury, right?
But she's never one who backs down or who's shy there's an outcome, whether she does good or otherwise in terms of the outcome. She's always there, ready to say why and wherefore and so on and so forth.
A recent popular superintendent, I'm not privileged to call his name. He's back in the police force. He was being arrested by Miss Lewin and prosecuted.
Technically speaking, not by her. She's not in the business of arresting people.
She prosecutes. She's in the business of
prosecution. Yes.
And he was out for 8 years. Well, if you know the figures, what is going to cost the Jamaican people to reinstate that superintendent and to pay him up for the 8 years he was out.
Has that made the news?
No. The only way you can get that figures is the Minister of Finance. You can get that figures, or the Minister of Justice Department people. You can get that figures because that's public record.
So where can we go to find that bit of information?
Well, I think you have to call the GIS. I think you have to call the government service people. I think you have to call various Ministry of Information, etc. Right? Now,
I thought it was easier that was more easily retrievable than you made it.
No, it doesn't.
So
no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
No, but that's information. If you're able to say all that you've just said, then surely you have to have more.
I could tell you who's the richest congressperson in Congress here in America. I could tell you that.
No, we're not in search of in pursuit of that kind of information.
Right. But I could tell you because those information are privileged to us, the way our system set up. But to go back to the jury system.
One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
Thanks for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Yes, thanks for holding. Please continue.
You remember with the Dutch investigation where Mrs. Lewin beat her chest? It was on almost every radio talking about the Dutch trial.
Beating her chest? Really? What do you mean by that?
She was like a cheerleader to bring this matter before the court.
Was it not a matter worthy of being brought before the court?
That's the way I articulate and I analyze. I'm paraphrasing my own words, right? What happened to that? What the trial judge say, what the lawyers how they say is that people fabricate story and tell lie and people and all these things.
No, well, if there is such a thing, then it will all come out in the wash. That's why we have lawyers. That's why we have courts and judges and so on and so forth.
So if somebody wants to know the history of how Mrs. Lewin conducted herself in her office, then let's go to Ken Pantry. Let's call Ken Pantry one day in your program.
No, but if her actions have been so egregious, on what basis would she still be in office? Surely they have standards that govern that by I think it's the public. Well, they have standards, so therefore, she could not still be there if her behavior was so egregious, could she?
Well, you see, your constitution and my constitution, because I'm still a citizen of Jamaica, allow the prime minister, and this is where I was going to my last input that I want to put to you. But before we leave that, I think the time has come for diaspora to be jury in Jamaica. We don't have to come to Jamaica. You set up the website. We register. You have all our data information. Some of us retire and we want to contribute to Jamaica. So we sit on jury. This is cutting edge technology. I believe in that. I went to a class recently and I stayed right into my living room. I was doing an OSHA class for 2 days when I was frustrated, but I had to do it because of the nature of the job that I done. And my instructor was in California. And if I am going to a break, I have to tell him. And I have to take the test because I was having to stand and go in on the water to do the work that I had to do. But I passed the test.
Yeah, that technology has been with us for some time now.
Right. So now what I am saying, we retire. We register that we're Jamaican citizens. And we still hold that document.
So you're essentially putting up your hand to say, hey, I am ready, and I would love to encourage other members of the diaspora to come on board. I'm ready to serve as a juror, as a Jamaican in the diaspora.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then whether it's in our living room or we have to go to a central location, and the government people from Jamaica call you on your telephone, interview you, see who you're talking to, etc. So when the time comes for jury duty, we are sitting around the computer and we see what is going on and we observe, etc., etc. And there's 2 million of us living in America, then Canada, then all over England. So let's broaden the pool. And I am saying to the government of Jamaica, and I'm saying to Lewin.
You're saying to who?
I'm saying to the director of public prosecution. I'm no cheerleader for the director of public prosecution. I'm saying to her.
But there's an office of the director of public prosecutions, which will stand and in fact will outlive all of us. And because DPPs are transient, they're passing through basically. The institution itself remains. So we have to be careful how we worship people and how we vilify people, because they're not going to be around forever. But and in seeking to vilify or glorify these individuals, be careful that we're not in that process undermining an important institution in terms of governance and justice and related matters in this country.
My work that I do, if I'm called to the office and the boss or the regional manager, and I go into the office and something did that I should not have been done. Well, I'm going to get the long yardstick. No disrespect. They're going to lay it out. No shake hand. They're going to lay it out like ABC, and I have to stop it because I did not accomplish the work. That's how they treat me, and I learn when they come with that type of treatment towards me. So I'm saying, let's solve the problem once and for all with the jury system in Jamaica. Bring us into the system, and we will solve the problem. And those who are in Jamaica, don't tell me about giving a man $2,000 to be jury. Right?
Well, hasn't the Justice Minister publicly stated that by all means he agrees that $2,000 is not cutting it, and he's suggesting that some kind of application be made or some kind of some kind of um, lobby or request to be made to say, let us make an adjustment here because this is not good enough.
Because if we are coming to Jamaica, if Matt is coming to Jamaica and Matt is taking out cocaine, I like to use my example. Matt is taking out cocaine. Why not charge Matt? Why not make Matt pay what you call it, a tax on the crime that he commits? So the money can go into the system rather than locking up Mac and all these rubbish. Because since we're using Jamaica as a transshipment, then let's have a crime. Let's have a crime tax. I'd love to see the day come. You have a crime tax. When
A
you
crime
guilty,
what?
a crime tax. When you're guilty, you pay it. When you're not guilty, you can't pay the crime tax. It don't apply to people. When the court finds you guilty, you pay the crime tax. My last point to you, I heard the justice, Miss Mallow Ford, what's her name? The former Attorney General.
This is Marlene Malahoo Ford.
Yes.
The Honorable
She
Marlene
said that
Malahoo Ford, Minister of
legal
Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
she's saying that the opposition leader won't name people to sit on the committee to draft the new constitution. Well, what you don't understand, it is going to be a long hot summer. This is not a walked over. And the opposition leader, I will not agree for him. He's right. He's absolutely right. You must put the Premier Council on the agenda. Whether you want it to the Premier Council for the final court or the Caribbean court, that must be the agenda. And it can't be any rubber stamp. And that is why I said the government should have given somebody different from her, because it's a complex issue to redraft a constitution. You have to know it like the back of your hand.
So who says there's a wholesale redrafting of the Constitution?
Right. And this is where the Director of Public Prosecution comes in, that Mrs. Lewin should be the last person to appoint for the job. So going forward,
For which job?
the job to be Director of Public Prosecution.
She has been the DPP for a long time.
Yeah, because the Prime Minister has the sole power to do that. Chief Justice, the Prime Minister has the sole power. The Service Commission, the Police Commission. So we could go down the line. So Bolden is right when he refused to name anybody to sit on the board. So it is going to be, and I think to give a deadline when the bill must come before Parliament. Well, from where I sit and understand the law, understand it, it is not going to happen. It is going to be a long, hot summer. How do you have what do you call it, a fixed date for election? Because that ties in the Constitution of Jamaica, right? So if you have a fixed date for election, then you must have what you call a recall of the Prime Minister with a million vote. So you can't wait on the fixed date for election so the Prime Minister can manipulate the system.
The system, all of that notwithstanding, the system does have checks and balances.
It has. So the system has checks and balance.
It does.
And where the diaspora, people can apply to the Director of Public Prosecution. They go before a select committee of the Jamaican.
Well, there's nothing to stop anybody from anybody qualified enough to not waste the time of a select committee or a committee of qualified people.
Yeah, when I use certain words, you said to me, Mark, I don't like to use that. I'm not going to use the word eminent because you don't like it. So I don't like to come into your backyard and stir up the answer. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
when I use the say eminent lawyer, and you said, no, don't go there, don't try to use me back. So I'm not going to use that. So it is going to be a long hot summer. We have to put how you appoint the Commissioner of Police. We have to put how you appoint the Chief Justice, the Police Service Commission, the Civil Servant Commission. All of that has to put on the table for you to have a draft debate of a new constitution in Jamaica. And if the lady that the Prime Minister appointed don't have these things at the table, then we're going right back to square one. It is going to be a longer summer. My friend, it was good talking to you. I'm going to give someone else a chance, and may God guide and bless you and your listeners and your co-worker.
Thank you. All the best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Malcolm, a good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. You're in all sorts of things regards to juror, but to tell you the truth, I served as a juror once upon a time. And let me tell you this, I believe this juror business set up a funny way. One, I believe that in getting to a juror is when the judge try and there's no hard evidence and put it to the people. Is that so?
When the what?
When you go to court and the judge cannot find any hard evidence, they put it to the people.
I don't know that's the way it is done. You either have a jury trial or you have what's it called, bench trial or something to that effect.
But trial have to take place before you get to that. Several trials.
Not in all cases. No, I don't know about several
I
trials.
don't think a case was called up straight to jury.
Yeah,
I think when they have weak evidence, they put it to the people. And I tell you the truth.
I don't know about that.
If that is the case, I want the judge them to do their work. What they need to do is get people to go into the community, find out if they want to find out something from the person, on that person, and then put it to paper and take it back in and make the state that they employ to do the work like the judge. Do their work. Don't put
One moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake. I coming Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it comes, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, hover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without air. Drop, hover, hold on.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, in association with Winchester MRI, Immune Active Denk, and Almighty Studios present Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for persons overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson and host Alicia Taylor airs every Friday at 3:30 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now, right here on Power 106 FM. Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington during Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-9224-11225 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yes, sir. So what I want to see happen is that when a judge have a case in front of him, and you try, and then there's no hard evidence to put away that person, then you turn to the indigenous people or the people. Now what it is doing is setting each other in the village at war. So I want the government to
That's
desist.
not going to happen.
Well, I want them to desist from this juror business because juror is a house furniture. And the second thing I want to say, I hear the Chief Justice talking about the Prime Minister using words about violence producers. What we need to do is stop worrying about words. Not words, name. Right? Name don't mean anything sometimes.
Really?
What the Chief Justice need to do is go down to the court and tell the judges that they are to write judgment because they are not writing any because they know so they don't have nobody to account to. That is what the Chief Justice need to do. Telling people then in judge them that are not obliged to write judgment.
Everybody is accountable.
And that's why you see
everybody is accountable to somebody. The fact that they might be deficient in holding those who need to be to be held accountable is another matter.
You get up out of the seat, you adjourn whenever you feel like, and all those kind of funniness. I went with the abroad, me work for High Court judge, and so them tell me say it work in many cases.
You have told us that a few times, so we're familiar.
What is happening here is that everybody is doing their own things. And work, so when you're working for the state, is a job you're doing. And that's why a lot of us, when we go abroad and security work, we have to go do. That we have to train all over again. And then we'll put funniness going on here, man. Judge not writing judgment because he's too big and him know nobody to accountable to. And the state have to pay him. Who you think we are? Man is like a grass. Who is man to be mindful of?
And I don't know which case you're referring to or who you're referring to. But I don't know about that.
We need to start right judgment, man. And the Chief Justice needs to
who says
hold them accountable.
Who says the
check it out. Check it out. They only just
no man, no. We need to stop that. If you have information, put it out there, but don't just fly a kite for the sake of flying a kite. All right, let's leave it there for now. Thanks for the call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon, Mr. Combs.
Yeah, we have to take it from there, the week, Mr. Malcolm. I don't know what I'm about. I'll try to my best. Listen, from yesterday, me want to come on for the program. This thing called you, me hear people talk.
This thing they call what?
This you thing, me hear my talk from yesterday, pure rubbish. Let me tell you, I'm going to explain what the material. Listen. I don't can't say me can't read good. I me declare me and say me got ABC, man. Listen to you. Me go there 6 times. Me get paper, me go 6 times. Me serve 4 times. How then get me name? Me would work like Caribbean Tour, look at branch of Shepherd at Pines Road. And then get me name for the pay bill for me ask, how then get me name for the time me just come at town. And the bill tell me say you got it at the Shepherd and get me name. Alright, listen to me. The first time me go, me selected it. When you select the card name, what that's 6 euro or 12. The first time was 12, but that definitely murder case. You call up, you go up, town bound, and you get 12 of them. When you go up, then give a paper to read, listen carefully. Mark, I swear by Almighty God that I will faithfully try several issues. Several issues between the sovereign lady, the queen, and the prisoner in the bar, and listener partner, and give a true verdict according to the evidence that I want to swear in, When the crown counsel said you're gonna argue with that swearing, okay? The crown counsel said, sir, select your foreman, whether foreman or forewoman. You can call her Madam Foreman. Madam Foreman, that doesn't mean thank you for that. Well, me was number 4. Him say, while you're on this case, as long as this case don't dispose with and you're on the case, you're number 4, you come out or you call for the first beginning of the year until the case disposed of. Me was number 4, so your name not call Philip Combs again, you call Dervan Malcolm. Number 1, jury, Madam Foreman, Mr. Foreman, so and so going to go down. All right. Well, listen good, them say the crown counsel tell you everything. You say everything up now, you do over here.
if it's a murder case taking up in your bedroom, abandon that and listen to the evidence, match for you, evidence for you. So somebody I tell you, boy, you see that here, so. You see, I tell you something, Mr. Dervan. When I tell you my jewel, now that me tell you what, you should ask them, how the vote go? What is the vote? And it go on and it go on. They find that man guilty with the case card up again. And the last one, me sit on, while that judge, Mr. Chairman, that big brown man, red, all right. It was a shooting with intent. It's a hard shoe road. You come off of him, and you go and you come back and see road. The young man gets shot. He was about 2024. When the policeman come round by himself and book him up, sit down and he would John walk and say, what happened to you? He said, what's coming up? And when before he reached about that which party was, he said some men and he hear something boss but a couple, but he don't know what it was and wasn't paying any intention. And when he come up here, so if he something burning for the foot and he can't move, listen good, you know, you're sensible. Anyway, then take up the man. He said, listen, tell him, say, man, when you come up here, but the man, some of them escape and gone and got this. And he's asking what when the man give a good excuse. And when you send where you do a room now, because but me say this you man say the man say don't but I want to come up top with some men who the man them gone my bite and come and steal some burn him. The man never good defense, but the liar pay man liar come like dunce. All right.
No, you're calling the man a dunce. That's
No,
harsh.
me say come like I don't say he was.
Yeah, but how is that relevant?
No, but the man all right, this not discussion. When the judge said, well, this is what I'm saying, you I already found you guilty, sir, so I cannot let you go. The jury should realize that we are not going to appeal this case. But they have a good case. You said, this is good one. You said, you I found you guilty and already. And for I am sitting on this case, I court judge. Sitting in this circuit court, I court judge. I've never given a man 3 years. 3 years is the maximum RM court. I never know that until that day Mr. Chambers tell me that in court. So the man just say you are not going to appeal the case. Right? So when people are talking about jury, you see that you can't deny it. You can't deny it, you this, you see? You got a doctor and you tell you're sick or everything, and then come here and you find you there, you're going to prison. Just see me come out the park, or just see my wife with jury. Don't have workplace. I'm sorry, you know what I said? I'm a doctor, but doctor said, I'm not going to court, you know. I said, no, you know what I said? They tell me, well, say, you can't go work and take leave, you know, sick leave. You have to tap work. And you will cover me gate, you know. Miss school did you, say, she said, so you want her? Oh, no. Me bread, my son. Then see like him at Julia. Him get the paper, so we have 2 gates, one by the park, one by San Juan. When you make my son dead, you know, and you say, what do you go out? Ma'am, me can't stay in my house and talk to the tenant. Me see 2 police again, me say, go on and say, Julia, come out now. So the tenant send the man, them on the side gate. Me go there with my son, not the program, the marker. Me have been on me front of my choices. Me say, who you come to? Me come, yes. Me say, why, what is about it? He says supposed to come to do and me don't come, so he come to me say, see me. When you don't want to believe me, me say, see me, he did. The man just, Father, believe me. The man just talking Jesus and just go back there with my brother in the background now. He never say one more word. So when people are going to the rubbish, Mr. Malcolm, you know, let me want to come and say, I'm gentleman, I'm a producer.
Let's leave it there for now, Mr. Coombs. We hear you
Yeah.
loud and clear.
You got any sense of what I tell you?
We hear you loud and clear. Thank you. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Coming up at 3:30, your legal corner with U.S. immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington. Any questions at all that you have in relation to U.S. immigration, stay with us because that feature will run from 3:30 until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Your legal corner with attorney at law, U.S. immigration attorney at law, Delia Walker Huntington. Stand by for that. In the meantime, let's clear a couple of messages because There are many. It's a lot. It's a lot of messages, and we're going to do our best to see if we can clear them. Going back to yesterday, this one says, "Good evening, good afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and yours truly, in Jesus' name." Good afternoon to you too. Another one, "Good afternoon. The church preaches and teaches fear," says this person. Precious from New Monkland in St. Thomas says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Power 106 came on Monday morning. I was able to listen to Farm Talk and Morning Agenda, and it went in the afternoon. Not been back since. One of the technicians did call last week, but I could not continue the call because the connection was bad at the location where I was. Missing the programs." Precious from New Monkland, St. Thomas. Sorry to hear of your plight, Precious. We're going to forward your message right now. Forwarding your message right now to the radio and TV transmission WhatsApp group of engineers. So that's what we're doing right now. Taking a while to load. There we go. Transmission TV radio. So we have forwarded your message, and we are now going to forward your contact information to the WhatsApp group of engineers. So we're doing that right now. So let's see what the reply will be. Tina says, "Mr. Malcolm, please can you send a special shout out to the councillor of the Almond Town Division, Charmaine Daniels, who lost her only son 2 weeks ago and is still out representing the people of the division. It's impressive to see her still working." We join you in conveying condolences to your councillor of the Almond Town Division, Charmaine Daniels, on the loss of her only son. May he rest in peace and light perpetual shine on his face.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs-controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Welcome to Your Legal Corner on Power 106 FM, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Call in with your questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Time now for Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM.
Indeed, it is a Thursday afternoon, just after 3:30, and that means time for Your Legal Corner. All you need to know about U.S. immigration, any questions at all that you have in relation to U.S. immigration, this is the time, this is the place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line and the WhatsApp number are one and the same. 876-279-8598, 876-279-8598. You can send your email messages as well to yourlegalcorner106 at gmail.com. That's yourlegalcorner106 at gmail.com. Let's say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to U.S. Immigration Attorney at Law, Delia Walker Huntington. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Dervan. How are you doing today?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Your Legal Corner. Something caught my attention, or got my attention earlier this afternoon. One of the stories trending on the Gleaner's website Jamaica-Gleaner.com. Congresswoman, UN rights chief denounced U.S. plans to limit migrants from the Caribbean. Not sure.
Yeah, I saw that too, and it caught my eye, and I actually read it, and I went to the Congresswoman's website. So we kind of on the same page. I went to her website and looked at the press release, and I love Congress.